Good morning. You are tuned in to Financial Strategies for Life. I'm Sarah Seesholt, your Lake Norman Money Maven, and we're happy to have you joining us this morning. We are focusing on business today. I'm very pleased today to have our guest, Todd Youngblood. He is president of Chili Technology and T2 International. Welcome, Todd.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for having me this morning.
We are featuring from time to time local businesses. I know one of the things I find is there are so many entrepreneurs and businesses in this geographic area that the average citizen is absolutely clueless about. And you certainly contribute a lot to the local economy, not only from, employing people, but from the products and services that you provide. So we're going to talk about some of those things today. We're going to talk about how you got started, some business ideas, because we have lots of business owners that listen. Give us a little bit about your background, Todd.
Great. Well, thanks again for having me on, Sarah. So my background, like every other entrepreneur, has its mix of windy paths and interesting stories. Without getting to a crazy amount of boringness or doldrums, my story probably goes back to my uncle, who 42 years ago invented the waterbed. So for yourself, for any of your listeners that have ever slept on a waterbed, that was the first product that really could control your temperature.
I have slept on a waterbed, and there were all sorts of them. Some of them you felt like you were on a bad cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, and some of them were some of the greatest sleep you ever got.
That's right. They definitely started like truly sleeping on a sea of water. So, oddly enough, it really wasn't a viable product until he figured out a way to heat the water. Because if anyone's ever slept on a waterbed with a heater went out,
cold.
Oh, you'd freeze. It'd suck all the heat right out of you. So it's just an enormous heat sink. So essentially, our path to bringing this product to market really started when I, right out of college, worked for my uncle and got used to his entrepreneurial spirit and got a sense of what it really took for him to create his own small business and what really entrepreneurship was all about.
Terrific. So from that, tell us a little bit about how you're in business with your wife. Is she's a partner as well?
That's right.
Is your uncle involved at all?
No, he's out in Seattle today, alive and well, and sleeping on a waterbed, I'm sure. My wife and I started our parent company, T2, is a product development company in its nature. And we've done contract product development for many other big companies. And we also do design and bring products to market for ourselves. And this product, the Chili Pad, and the Chili Bed are products that we saw an opportunity in the market with having you can do almost anything in your mattress. You can change the elevation. You can make it firmer or softer. You can sleep on springs or air or water or foam. You can do almost anything except change the temperature. And for us, that really represented an opportunity to bring a unique product to market.
And that is certainly true. I know, that temperature control with a married couple, usually one is burning up and the other one is freezing, or vice versa, and that creates a lot of cover havoc at night, doesn't it?
It does indeed. We call it the thermostat wars. As someone goes to sleep, one spouse gets up and drops down the temperature, and someone wakes up, freezing cold and bumps that temperature back up in the middle of the night. But, we've had a really great experience as entrepreneurs. As you mentioned, my wife and I co-founded this company, and we're owners of it today. And, we live right in Mooresville. We have an office and staff there with about 18 people that work for us, Chili and the associated companies. And, we're really happy to be part of the business community in the local area.
Well, I know the local area is happy to have you participate. And, certainly the smaller towns, we have the Charlotte metropolitan area, but the towns like Statesville, Cornelius, Davidson, Hickory, even Winston, there are just a lot of business opportunities in the counties outside of Mecklenburg that are attractive from a tax perspective, a quality of life perspective. Mooresville is a great area. How long have you been in the area?
We've been in the area about 10 years.
10 years, okay. Yep. So you remember when there were cow pastures and no interchanges and
That's
all
right.
that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yes, we love the being able to live and work in the same community is quite a treat.
And how many children do you have?
My wife and I have 4 boys.
4 boys. Wow.
So it's an exciting household. Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. And are they involved in the business at all, or they're probably not quite old enough, are they?
Yeah, not quite old enough. The age range is from 4 to 14. So lots of dialogue about it, and we've been fortunate to travel with our kids, and it's almost always business related at some extent. So
well, that's one nice thing about business is you can pretty much make your life tax deductible if you work it right. I know I certainly was able to afford my children that opportunity and continue to enjoy doing that. It gives you a perspective that nothing else really can.
absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Chili. What is Chili Technology?
Well, Chili Technology is a company based around temperature and sleep. So for some people, it's a readily identifiable that they know they sleep hot or they sleep cold or they sleep at a very different temperature than their sleep partner. Chili Technology was really a company built around solving those sleep temperature problems.
Okay, and how long has the company itself been in existence?
We started the company about 7 years ago. And it's possible we started it 5 years ago, but the company's been in development for 7 years.
Well, not you can't bring everything to market just immediately with an idea, can you?
Oh goodness, it takes a really long time. I'm sure there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there listening to your show right now that have had a product they've tried to take to market, an idea or a garage invention. And they know very well that it takes blood, sweat, and tears, as they say, to take products to market. And
a lot longer than what you may anticipate. So you said your uncle invented the water bed. So how tell us about Chili Technology. What is it? How does it work? I know I personally have a chili pad, and I absolutely love the thing. I will confess initially I thought, well, okay, I'm warm enough when I sleep. I'm single, so I'm not having to fight covers with anything other than my dog, but the dog loves the chili pad.
I bet.
I love the chili pad. I don't even want to get up in the mornings. So tell our listeners a little about what the heck is a chili pad.
Absolutely. The chili pad is our kind of our cornerstone product. It's a mattress pad that can go on top of any size or style mattress. There's different sizes depending on the size of bed that you sleep on.
So whether you're a twin or whether you're a California king, you can accommodate a need.
That's exactly right. And also we even have it for a split queen for someone that sleeps on a queen bed and only really wants it for their half of the bed. So the way the technology works is we were able to actively change the sleep surface temperature between 60 degrees and 110 degrees. And each side of the bed can be its own temperature.
Wow, that's a pretty big variance. 60 to 110, you said?
That's right. So those 50 degrees, they really make a big difference on really being able to dial into the temperature that really gives you the most recuperative, restful sleep.
And I know in some of the research I've done, there's been you do a lot of testing on maintaining that temperature, which we'll talk more about when we come back from a break. So anywhere from a queen, and you said it can be split. I know they can be split because, as you say, generally one person is happy with one temperature and the other person is very unhappy with that. One wants to be warm and one wants to be cool. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
So when we come back from our break, we'll talk more about temperature control and how you can sleep soundly at night. We'll be right back. You're listening to Financial Strategies for Life. I'm Sarah Seasholtz, your Lake Norman Money Maven. We're back. You're listening to Financial Strategies for Life. I'm Sarah Seasholtz, your Lake Norman Money Maven, and I'm so pleased today to have Todd Youngblood as my guest. Todd is president and founder of Chili Technology. They are a subsidiary of a company, T2 International, that's headquartered in Mooresville, North Carolina. They've been here for several years and employ lots of people, and do lots of interesting things. Before the break, we were talking about the chili pad, and listeners, you want to get your pens because I'm going to give you some information here before I get Todd to give us some more info. If you want more information about chili technology, or you want to order a chili pad about when you hear how cool the thing really is, you can call them toll free at 877-235-6271. That will ring direct to Chili Technology, toll free, 877-235-6271. If you want to check out their website, it's www.chili.technology.com. Before the break, we were talking about the chili pad, and I was waxing poetic about how much I love mine and how much my dog loves mine. Tell us a little bit more how the technology works, what it is, and I know one of the things that's really important is that it gives off moist versus dry heat. I thought when I first heard about the chili pad, I thought, well, what is this? Is this just like a heating pad? No, it's absolutely a completely different dynamic.
Yeah, so the way the technology works, we call it a mattress pad, but essentially it's a temperature regulation system that's delivered in a mattress pad. So there's nothing electronic, there's no electricity in the actual pad itself. It's simply, we heat and cool water in we call control units that sit next to the bed. And in these control units, we're using electronics to either heat or cool the water, depending on the temperature that's set, and we circulate that water in the mattress pad. So for anyone that's ever had aches and pains and they go to put a hot water bottle on, like you said, your knee was hurting you, if you would put a hot water bottle on your knee and you get some really wonderful relief, and it's like being in a warm soaking bath, when you're heating the mattress temperature, and the warm side of things, that's what it feels like. It's that nice, warm, moist heat as opposed to a really dry, kind of brittle heat, brutal heat that an electric blanket can kind of puts out.
Well, and that's much better for your skin. I know certainly people, if they're, over 40, they start having problems with drier skin, and dry heat can cause lots of discomfort, itching, whatever. And the moist heat does penetrate more. I was just sharing off the air. I cleaned out my garage yesterday with the help of some friends, and I was in a really bad car wreck back in the mid-'80s, and as a result, I've got some arthritis in my right knee, and boy, I put on the icy hot and cranked up my chili pad last night, and I didn't want to get up this morning. It was wonderful. What is it about moist heat that works so much better than dry heat?
Well, there's a couple things. The first off is that an electric blanket actually doesn't respond to the environment at all. So when you click your settings, and it's typically a 1 through 8 or some kind of a number setting, it's irrelevant to the air temperature, to the humidity, to any other environmental factor. It's simply telling the system, the electric blanket, on how hot to get. You're at 100% of its capacity or less than that. And that's not a great way to get a consistent result. So we can go into the details about how the electric blanket works, but essentially they're electric coils that heat up, and they're using just resistance technology that makes that coil get really, really hot. And it's, again, not really subject to the ambient temperatures or humidity. It's just really, really hot. They're actual...
Well, and not only that, you certainly wouldn't want your dog chewing on your electric blanket. And
No.
The nice thing about the chili pad, I know from my own personal experiences, it is encased in this lovely quilted cover, and the unit that you described is very quiet. You just don't, it's almost like ambient noise. You don't even notice it.
You're right. We actually use the same components in our system, or very similar components, to an aquarium pump that pumps the water, and like a computer fan, which helps the system stay cool. Those are really the only two operating parts. So for people that have a computer in their bedroom, they know that the computer is very quiet. It's just simply a fan that's running. An aquarium pump works silently in the background. Those are really the only two moving parts for the system. Now the pad, we spent years getting the pad just the way we wanted it. So it's very easy to clean. It's machine washable. It goes on your mattress just like any regular mattress pad would. Like you said, it's got a little bit of quilting in it, so it provides a really comfortable, soft surface to lay on. You really can't feel the tubes unless
No, you can't. It's not lumpy at all. It's just, it almost makes makes your mattress more comfortable, I think.
Yeah, so we know that if it's not comfortable, incredibly comfortable, it doesn't matter how cold or hot you want your bed. If you can't sleep because it's uncomfortable, it's not a actual benefit.
So, listeners, if you have some questions, you can reach Todd's folks at Chili Technology, toll free, 877-235-6271. On their website, www.chilitechnology.com. That's spelled CHILI. So, Todd, tell us more. I know a lot of people sleep on these mattresses. We're not going to throw out names here, but they're very dense foam.
Yep.
And I used to have one of those, and I really hated the thing because it was so hot.
Right.
And I've heard my friends express, they've gone from a bed where you can dial a number and you get a certain density of air to this really dense foam, and they're burning up and they're grumbling, and I'm telling them you need a chili pad. How does the chili pad help someone who may have a mattress like that they've made a huge investment in? I mean, bedding is not inexpensive.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different types of mattresses out there, and the memory foam craze has been an absolute blessing to a lot of people, and there's companies that make a really great product. The biggest thing with memory foam is the memory foam works like a big heat sink. And when you start the night, it's wonderfully cool. It's room temperature. But as you heat up and your body heats up, that foam absorbs heat over time. And for a lot of people, middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, it becomes ferociously hot because it's no longer absorbing your heat. So essentially, it's re-radiating the heat back at you. Well, the way to solve that is to never let it absorb heat to begin with. So if you're actively maintaining the temperature of that mattress, the foam never absorbs heat. Or the other sleep surface you're on doesn't absorb heat. It maintains the same temperature throughout the night. So instead of having temperature fluctuations because of the mattress or because of your own body, the physiological sleep cycles that your body's at a different temperature throughout the night, that's really mitigated to a great extent because you're able to sleep at the consistent temperature throughout the night.
Yet get the benefits of whatever the particular mattress composition is. I know you've done a lot of quality control work and testing, and the consistency of temperature is something that you're very focused on, and you're very certainly the product is very precise about, unlike perhaps some of the seeming competitors that are on the market.
That's right. Our product dials into a temperature plus or minus 1 degree. So if you set it at 60 degrees, your temperature should be between 59 and 61 degrees. So we really work hard to deliver the temperature that customers are expecting. And it's amazing the difference, and people really notice the difference of just 4 or 5 degrees of whether they're sleeping really, really comfortably or their target temperature is reached, or whether it's just close to the target temperature.
Well, I know personally I found, as I say, I got one for Christmas. I thought I slept really well. Usually I don't have too much trouble hitting the hay and zooming right out. But I notice a huge difference in the quality of sleep since I've had a chili pad. I mean, that's my own personal testimonial. And I think everybody should have one.
Yeah, we're excited about really getting the word out, and that's being our biggest competitor. Really is market awareness. There's so many wonderful attributes to this product.
Well, we'll talk more about that when we come back from a break. You're listening to Financial Strategies for Life. Our special guest today is Todd Youngblood with Chili Technology. We'll be right back. We're back. I'm Sarah Seesholtz, your Lake Norman Money Maven, here today with Todd Youngblood, my special guest, president of Chili Technology. Todd, before the break, we were talking a little bit more about the quality of sleep and how the chili pad is very flexible, machine washable. You don't even feel it. It's quiet. It makes you sleep better. So let's talk a little more about what does that mean to people maybe who have some medical issues. I know you said, and on the website, there are some testimonials, unsolicited testimonials from people with different medical issues about how the Chili Pad has helped them. Can you share some information about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. There's so many different things that impact people's sleep, and medical or people's health is definitely. You need good sleep to stay healthy, and yet it's a lot of times people have a chronic condition or issues in their life that prevent them from getting that good sleep. It just becomes so elusive. And as we all know that have stayed awake for a few nights, or when you're not feeling well, you don't sleep well, that just takes such a toll on you. So there's some of the feedback we've gotten from our customers that have had an amazing impact on their quality of life because they're getting better sleep. Some of the immediate temperature-related symptoms you might think of people with hot flashes, where it really mitigates and reduces the severity and the length of hot flashes.
Well, and that applies to every woman on earth, doesn't it?
It certainly does.
At some point or another.
That's right. In fact, there's a local OBGYN in the Raleigh area that has recommended this product to patients for years now because of her own personal beliefs or her own personal experience with the product.
So listeners, all you have to do is ask your physician for a prescription for a Chili Pad, and it becomes a tax deduction. And we all love saving money. That's what this show is all about, different strategies for maximizing your return. That's
right. We do have some examples. We've had prescriptions for all types of ailments where people have gotten a prescription written by their doctor, and it's been for hot flashes, for people struggling with fibromyalgia, for just arthritis. And you mentioned about your experience with your knee, depending on how severe it is. We get testimonials literally every week from customers telling us a new example or a new symptom that the Chili Pad's helping with. Multiple sclerosis is one we've had a huge impact on the lives of people managing through that illness.
Wow. What are some of the things that they've seen with the Chili Pad?
Well, for example, so MS is all about the nerve endings and about the sensitivity of temperature and about being able to have the sensitivity of those nerve endings and being able to cool the temperature down as you're trying to sleep really allows people with MS to get into a better, deeper sleep and more recuperative sleep.
Well, I bet a lot of our listeners are thinking of some questions they'd like to ask. We're going to give your toll-free number here again. It's 877-235-6271. You can call Chili Technology and ask your questions. You can also order anything off their website. Their website is www.chilitechnology.com. And you also have a Facebook page, right?
We do. That's right.
There's some cute commercials and so on, or well, I guess not commercials on Facebook. I don't know what you'd call them. Ads.
Postings, yeah.
Postings, yes, postings. I'm still learning social technology. I'm trying to be in the forefront here. We also do have a Facebook page, so please like our page as well. What are some other applications for the pad? I mean, sleep is so important. I mean, it's a huge percentage of your life, and there's so many medical issues that arise from poor sleep. And I think a lot of times people don't know that they're not sleeping well. They sleep all night, but they get up and they feel tired, or they're irritable, or they toss and they turn. I know that's one of the things that I've really noticed using the Chili Pad. I don't move. I get in the bed. I like to preheat mine. I turn it on while I'm brushing my teeth, maybe 10 minutes ahead. And I get in bed and I'm like zombie. I'm just out for the night. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's a great point you make, because it's hard to define what is really good quality sleep. For the average person, if good quality sleep is, well, I don't get up, or I don't toss and turn, or I'm not awake in the middle of the night, my eyes aren't wide open, so I must be sleeping well. But if you try to dial that back in to determine quality of sleep is, well, how many times a night do you get up to use the restroom? How many times a night do you actually roll over? Do you look at the clock? How many times a night do you look at the clock? For people that think they're getting good sleep, until they've actually managed temperature, they may feel like, well, I'm getting good sleep because it doesn't seem like it's bad sleep, but there's really no reference point to compare it to.
Yeah, and I guess if you're sleeping with another person, you could get the testimonial from that other person that you're not pulling the covers off or tossing and turning or kicking them or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. There's more of a benchmark there of like, well, you're not snoring as much, so it must be a good thing.
Yeah, I'm sure with couples that is certainly a challenge. My dog snores, but there's nothing I can do about that. I just fortunately she doesn't wake me up. Chili has won a lot of awards, and I think in business it's always good to capitalize on achievements and to talk about those things, because if you don't toot your own horn, nobody else will. Share with us some of the recent awards that Chili's won.
We've been very fortunate to be recognized over the last few years for our growth mostly, and that's all about getting our feedback and getting our word out to consumers. But we've been on the Inc. magazine ranking for fast-growing companies in the U.S. for the last 5 years, the Inc. 5000 ranking. And the last 2 years, we've been recognized in the Charlotte community for being one of what they call Charlotte Fast 50, which is the 50 fastest growing private companies in the Charlotte area. So we've been on that listing for the last 2 years. That's
phenomenal. Congratulations. Has that helped people find out more about Chili, or what benefits have you seen from either of those awards?
I guess they're probably fairly soft benefits. It definitely helps us with credibility, and as you mentioned entrepreneurship a couple times in previous exchanges. Part of it is really building credibility. How do people know that we're a real company that offers a real product that's really going to last and it's going to work as we say it's going to work? It's how do we build that confidence with people? And certainly winning these awards, we feel the biggest impact is showing that we're really on the map. We're here to stay. We've been in business for a long time, and we're working really hard to deliver a quality product at a value, at a price that people can afford.
And as one of the other things I think that's really attractive is that your pad is made domestically, correct?
Actually, it's imported. We have the mattress is made domestically. So the mattress is made. We actually make it in 2 locations. We have some mattresses made right here in North Carolina and some mattresses made in California. The electronics piece we actually do have made in China, but we have our own staff that work directly for our company in the factory when that product's being made. So although it's not made here, it's made under our close supervision.
And it's made to your specifications and your quality control. Well, thank you for straightening me out on that one.
Oh, yeah.
So you actually, in addition to the pad, you said you have a mattress.
We do.
And, certainly we've talked about if people have questions, they can give Chili a call at 877-235-6271. They can go to the website, www.chilitechnology.com. Chili is spelled CHILI. Where else can people acquire your product?
Well, we're available in independent mattress stores. So, for example, we've got a great relationship with Sweet Dreams Mattress based in Mooresville with 4 locations, 2 in Mooresville, 1, I believe, in Denver, and another one that recently opened up in Cornelius. Mm-hmm. They've been a fantastic partner of ours. So you can find an independent quality mattress stores. You can find it on a lot of different websites, including brookstone.com, Amazon.com, and a lot of other independent retailers.
Okay. I know, let's see, during the Olympics last year, there was some talk that some of the athletes were using the Chili pad. Can you talk about that at all, or is that a big secret?
Well, the secret's getting out, I guess. Oh. You mentioned
I just let it out, didn't I?
No, you're fine. Again, people... Beyond the quality of sleep, or people don't know its quality of sleep is sometimes elusive, we found professional athletes, NFL players have slept on our products, cyclists, world-class cyclists have slept on our products because it helps the recuperation period. We had a team of female cyclists in the Olympics in London this past Olympics that were using our product for recovery. So they were both using it at night, and in this case they actually use it during the day as well. To be able to help their body recover from the intensity of their workouts and training schedules.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, and when you look at it, there's tons of examples in medical research about when you cool down your body, you increase the blood flow, hence ice baths any high-level athlete will have experienced. And we're doing this at a much more comfortable level.
Yeah, I would think sleeping on a pad at 60 degrees would be a lot more palliative than plunging into a cold tub full of ice. I just, oof.
Yeah, I hope there's no ice baths planned for my future.
No, so athletes, if you're listening, here's a way to solve your aching muscles and get some recuperation and not be wanting to jump right out of the tub. So retail locations. What's some of the future for Chili? What are you looking at going forward? Can you talk about any of that without letting your secrets out of the bag?
Absolutely, I'd love to. We've got some accessories. So beyond the Chili pad and Chili bed, we also sell cooling pillows that actually have gel on one side or both sides of the pillow, and that's made with a special type of foam so it doesn't get very hot.
So now, are those hooked up to a unit, or those are so if you go camping, you can take your Chili pillow with you?
That's true. So
okay, we're going to get ready for a break here, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion about how you can certainly get optimum sleep with Todd Youngblood. We're back with Financial Strategies for Life. Today, our guest is Todd Youngblood, president of Chili Technology. This is an amazing product, Todd, and we're so happy that you agreed to come on and talk with us more. You're a local company. You contribute to the local economy. One of the things about the product, and this show certainly focuses on wise use of money and wise use of investments. And, while this isn't a typical investment like people might think about, this certainly does have a huge return on investment. We were talking at the break that sometimes people get a bit of a sticker shock. But when you really break that down, because you said that the product, give us again the kind of the price range of the product, depending if it's a pad or a mattress or.
Yeah, well, the Chili pads are again the cornerstone of our business, and the pads retail range between $399 and $999, $1,000. But it's really about the value, as you talk about. We can get into how long the product lasts and the quality of life it really can bring. But for even people that don't feel like they're not sleeping well, the quality of life that's contributed with this investment of a Chili pad is really just terrific.
Well, and I've seen that personally. I'm a walking testament here, and I'm not a paid advertiser for you. What is the warranty? I know you have a strong backing for the product.
Yeah, the product comes with a 2-year warranty, so truly a bumper to bumper. If anything breaks in 2 years, we'll make sure we get it right. And the biggest thing is, for a new technology like this, people want to know it's really going to work for them and it's going to make their life better. And as stated on our website and said here again, right for me in the flesh, if you don't love our product, we give you 100% refund in 90 days of purchase. We really want this product to work, and we guarantee it's going to work with our own money.
So 90 days, that's a lot longer than many products give you a warranty for. Usually it's 30. So 90 days, if you don't love it, if you don't like everything about it, send it back, no questions asked.
Bring it back, absolutely.
That's pretty phenomenal. Well, it's getting warm here. It's springtime, and in the summertime it gets hot and humid, and the quality of sleep you have to, crank up or down depending upon your perspective, your air conditioning to get it cooler. Talk some about the electric savings.
Yeah, so we always talk about it when we're talking to people in the community, or really in general, people that aren't sure they ever sleep hot or that's a problem. But when we go to ask them, when do you turn on your air conditioning? If you're someone that loves the fresh air blowing through your home as much as you can have it, and if you had your druthers, you'd keep your windows open year round. But the time you close those windows and the time you have to turn on the air conditioner is when the forecast says it's going to be too hot to sleep. So when you listen to that weather forecast, forecast, and that whether that temperature, depending on the person, whether it's going to be 70. I say it's a low of 70. Well, it's probably going to be 70 at about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Just too hot to really get that comfortable sleep. So what that really means is, imagine if you could keep your windows open 3 or 4 weeks longer. Imagine if you can keep your thermostat, instead of set at 68 degrees to sleep comfortably, you keep the rest of your house at 78 degrees and you cool your bed down to 68 degrees. Now that's being really smart with money.
That is being smart with money, and it's certainly kind of taking an idea and just turning it completely around and thinking about it in a whole different way. So instead of controlling, you can up your thermostat and with a very modest investment really control your temperature and sleep better. And over time, because as we said, you can get a medical prescription for this, you can take it out of an HSA. You can figure out how to deduct it from medical expenses. It really boils down to, over the use of the product, less than the cost of not even an expensive cup of coffee every day.
That's right. When you look at the savings on just the energy savings alone, this product, because it doesn't use much consumption of energy. It's literally like operating a light bulb. Each control unit, if you have a single zone, it literally operates at 80 watts. It's like a light bulb. If you have a dual zone unit, it's 2 light bulbs. And if you compare that to a home air conditioner, when your air conditioner is cranking, it's probably 3,500 watts, 5,000 watts, depends on your home and how many rooms in your home or how big it is. But just do the quick math in your head. If you're dealing a 5,000 watt air conditioner in your house and instead you cool your bed, what the government says is 1 degree change in your thermostat equals 7% of your cooling cost.
1 degree equals 7%. So, boy, we have the primary cooling season is coming upon us. For people that are listening remotely, if they're living in an area that's hot all the time or cold all the time, the flip works in the wintertime. You
That's
can
right.
keep your house cooler and warm up your chili pad.
That's right. And, the crazy part about the way we heat and cool our homes in this country is, so you're gone at work for a lot of people or not concerned about the temperature between the normal daylight hours. You really are most concerned about the temperature of your home and the time in which you're sleeping, but you're not walking around your house. You're in bed. So why not change the temperature of your bed? It just seems to make a lot more sense to me.
Well, that, and with the programmable thermostats now, if you're, at work or you're away from the home, maybe you've figured out how to program your thermostat so it stays warmer when you're not there. You can do that all year round. And from what you're saying, people locally, you said, are seeing upwards of $80 a month saving on their electric bill. That is wise financial use of money and smart financial planning.
And sleeping better.
And sleeping better. It's a double, triple whammy win. That's pretty cool. Todd, what advice would you have for people out there that have an entrepreneurial spirit and are thinking about, they have an idea and they want to bring it to market? And we don't have a lot of time left, but are there some words of wisdom you could give to the budding entrepreneur?
I think the most important thing, everyone will tell you it takes longer and it takes more money. But, from my personal perspective, the biggest thing is don't stop moving. Don't stop the wheels turning. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Because the moment you stop, you can't see further progress. So there have been so many obstacles that have come up that have told our business or told us as business owners that there's zero way to proceed. There's just not a chance for us being successful. Look at our competitors or look at the reasons that we can't be successful. The number one thing for entrepreneurs is don't stop moving. Keep working forward. If it's your dream and you feel your product and your business has merit, just keep working on it. Because if you stop working on it, no one else is going to.
No one else has your passion, and remove the word can't from your vocabulary. I know, bringing up my kids, every time they would say that, I say, nope, that word is not allowed in this household. You can do anything you set your mind to, and I think as many creative people have shown, usually when the obstacles are the highest, success is usually right around the corner in one way or another. Again, listeners, if you'd like to find out more about this wonderful product, the Chili Pad, you can call Chili Technology toll free. They're located in Mooresville, but toll free from anywhere in the country. 877-235-6271. Go to their website, www.chilitechnology.com. That's CHILI. Take advantage of this for your health and for your sleep. We're delighted to have had you as a guest today, Todd. Thank you so much for coming on Financial Strategies for Life. Hopefully our listeners have learned something. I know I've learned something, and am a big advocate of your product.
Well, and thanks, Sarah. Thanks so much for having me on. It's great to be able to talk to you about temperature and sleep. And obviously, as my wife and I owning and operating this business, we're very passionate about entrepreneurship and anything we can do in the local community, and even the national and international community, about really helping people be successful, pursuing their business dreams. Is just something that really strikes a personal chord. So thanks a lot for having me on. Great.
And we always like to close the show with a quote. You know, I'm sort of known as the quote smith. So today's is by George Prentice. And it says, "What gets measured gets done. What gets measured and fed back gets done well. What gets rewarded gets repeated." And that's certainly a lesson we as entrepreneurs know well, don't we, Todd?
Certainly do. No doubt
Have a
about
great
it.
day, and thanks for listening.